So ERC20 is a fungible token standard, in contrast to a non-fungible token, an NFT. So a fungible token, what does that mean? Well, it means it's a token where every token is replaceable with another token of the same kind. When you have a $1 bill, you can exchange it for any other $1 bill. It doesn't really matter which one you have. They are all worth $1. Same with ERC20 tokens. Let's say you have one USDT token, which is an ERC20. You can exchange it for any other. It doesn't really matter which one you have specifically. They are all worth one USDT, which is usually roughly $1. On the other hand, a non-fungible token, NFT, is not replaceable. Like these apes here. No two apes are the same. They are all unique. So you cannot just take one ape and exchange it for another one, because then all of a sudden you end up with a differently looking ape. So remember, one does not simply replace an NFT for another one, but one does simply replace an ERC20 for another one. So what does the ERC20 standard look like? Well, it's basically this set of functions here. And really at its core, for basic functionality, we only need these three functions here. A total supply view function to read how many tokens in total exist, a balance view function to read how many tokens an address has, and a transfer function that transfers the tokens where you specify where to send the tokens to and how many. And as you can see, the convention in ERC20 is also to return a boolean, so true or false, if the transfer was successful. So if we have these three functions, we already have basic fungible token contracts. So what's up with the others? Well, those three functions here are meant to be used with other smart contracts. If I only want to transfer tokens between addresses, like in Bitcoin where we only send Bitcoins between addresses, then the first three functions here would be enough. But now we are in Ethereum, and of course we want smart contracts to be able to use these tokens. So can I not send an ERC20 token to a smart contract with the transfer function? Well, yes you can, but this is a common mistake people make. Don't send your ERC20 tokens to a smart contract directly, please. This is how people lose their money all the time. So why is that? Well, when you call this transfer function here and send the tokens to a smart contract address, it only means we are storing the new balance now for the new smart contract address inside the current ERC20 contract. There's no transaction actually sent to the token receiver smart contract. And now for the smart contract to use the received tokens, it itself would have to call transfer. But first of all, what if it doesn't call transfer for this token anywhere in its code? It's an immutable contract, so you cannot just change it in hindsight. So if that happens, your tokens will be lost or stuck. But even if it had a way to call transfer, how would it know which address actually just sent the tokens to him? Again, there's no way to find that out. So that's why ERC20 has a mechanism with approving tokens. First, you would approve the receiver smart contract and using the approve function. And then spender would be the smart contract address. And then you would call a function inside the receiver smart contract. So inside the spender here, we would have a function that calls transfer from with the address that you passed it to. And now the ERC20 contract can check if the contract actually has a so-called allowance, which means previously someone called this approve function for the smart contract. And if that's the case, then the transfer from will be successful. And that means basically the smart contract now can use the funds of the sender address and transfer it himself. So now the receiver smart contract knows how many tokens you just sent to him. And of course, you need such a mechanism all the time. Whenever you use a token in a smart contract, this is the way you would do it. It also means you have to always send 2 transactions, because first you have to approve the token and then you can call the actual function. And then you also have some optional fields, which most of the times the contracts are actually using. So you can give your token a name, a symbol, and also define its decimals. So decimals here just means how many decimals means one full token. Most projects are using 18 decimals, just because it's the same as Ether. So one full token would be 10 to the power of 18 of whatever value you store inside the contract. Okay, cool. So that's the basic of ERC20. And now let's start with the developments.